Alrighty, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst & Company. Catalyst & Company, we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own. And we work towards becoming the artists we've always wanted to be. Now, as I stated in several videos now, I'm working towards creating an image for a mural that I'm going to be submitting. I originally, as I said, I originally thought that the wall was mine, and a few days later I found out that two other people were submitting work to it. So there we are, and there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm moving forward as if I already have the wall, because there are several in town that they want done. This organization wants done, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Behind me is the image I'm working on, or I was working on for okay, how do we put this? This is basically a sketch, a layout of that I could springboard from. This is not the submission. This was getting ready to produce the submission. And I'll turn the camera around in a second so you can see what I've been working on. But I finished it last night, or sort of finished it. It's close enough where I could take a photograph of it, take a photograph of the second canvas, which is gridded out now, and overlay them. And it was kind of it sounds like a slightly complicated project when you don't have like all the fancy tools that, you know, a lot of people have, where their iPads are brandy new and they can throw in like Photoshop or whatever programs. I don't have that. So I've got to work from a real basic level. But luckily, I've taught myself to be nimble enough to take what I have and find a way to make it work. And that's where most of us are, is we've just got to find a way to make it work. So I found programs online where, again, I photographed this, I photographed my grid canvases, and uploaded this image, uploaded the overlay on top of it, and was able to play with the opacity enough where I could see the image underneath but have the grid on top of it as well, thin enough where I could see both. And then I did the whole thing again, uploaded this image, uploaded the grid again, but making the grid a little bit more prominent. So I have a couple different images I can work from, and if those don't work for me, I can do it again. And those there are, as we know, there are programs online that allow you to do this for free. I do a lot of resetting pixel images online for free. I play with colors and things online for free. And yes, that does mean I'm allowing cookies to go into my laptop or whatever I'm using to do that. But it's okay. It's what I've got. Gonna deal. And end of story. So here we are. Here's the image this sketch or image that I'm going to be working from for my submission piece. Now, I was really having trouble with Emma's face. Excuse me. I was really having trouble with Emma Booker's face, Emma E. Booker's face, and she's the primary figure. She's the one I really want to get right. But in the reference material, the only reference material that's available, her face is so dark, it's really hard to work from. But Eric, our friend Eric, had me send him the image, and he was able to smooth it out a little bit. That was extremely helpful, especially in the last couple days of trying to get this right, or as right as possible. Before that, it was a matter of me taking my iPad and using different filters to try and tease out any lights that I could, any lights, any darks that I could. And I was able to find teeny tiny clues, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, here and there that allowed me to come out with this. But I was I was still struggling, and I was talking with a friend of mine the other night, and she said, oh, you know who that looks like? It looks like Zora Hurston. Zora Hurston, the author. And I happen to love Zora Hurston's face, and I've wanted to paint her before, and I went, oh my God, you're right. They're very similar in a lot of ways. Emma has a longer face, but some of the features are extremely similar. They're not doppelgangers, but it's enough where I can go, oh, okay, and and recalculate in my head, not take Zora's image and apply it here, but there's enough available where I can kind of recalculate in my head as I go along. Not copying Zora, because this is not about Zora, this is about Emma, Miss Emma. So just getting them to work together, again, using what we've got. I mean, I'll probably share the image at some point if I can. It's so hard to work from. It's so dark, but I want this job. I want to paint this image. I want to paint this woman because she was so important to African American culture here in Sarasota, specifically the African American community. It would be a huge honor for me to be able to do that. And I'm also looking at this, if everything works out, as a springboard to me doing murals. And I've wanted to go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And as a studio painter, financially it's been impossible. And really, I have bigger space than I have in a long time, but it's still, I can't do the big images I've wanted and more impactful stuff. So fingers crossed I get this. I'm going to pick up my iPad, turn it around, and show you the grid that I've laid out. Now, we've talked about doodle grids as in other videos. There it is. Well, okay, that's not all of it, but that's as far back as the camera can go. So we've talked about doodle grids, and I imagine it's a little hard to see. So let me just carry this over this way and try and show you. Those are all doodles. They're letters, they're symbols. They're just little things that I can use to help give me clues, especially where their faces are going to lay, where I want their faces to be. Whoop. That's my chair. That was my chair. There we go. Okay, now we're back. So I've got all these doodles I put on all these doodles, and this is my first time doing it. But with the overlay pieces that we just talked about, I'll be able to take that image, the finished, sketchy first rendition, and hopefully get their faces and figures out correctly. I really need to lengthen Emma a little bit, Emma and the other woman that's with her, because I made them too squatty. They're very boxy, very squatty in that image, the painted image. So I'm hoping to elongate them. But this is super, super, super exciting because I love painting big. There's no point to me in painting tiny. There's no point because I'm not giving the energy, the colors. Smaller images, my work in smaller images doesn't have the impact as when they're really blown up. And I love watching people when they get to walk up and really look at the paint, really look at the paint and the brush strokes. This is obviously going to be several stories, if I get to do this, several stories off the ground. It's going to start, the feet will start at 1 story off the ground and then extend to 4 stories off the ground. So you won't be able to see most of the brush strokes except through drone photography, and I now have a drone photographer I'll be using, and I'm really excited about it. Everything's kind of falling together in the most fabulous way, including this. Now, a number of people have helped me, including our friend Eric, Miss Anonymous, Susan, and Karen. They've helped me to be able to buy supplies. 2 of those individuals bought gift cards to Blick, which I cannot physically get to. So I'm not ready to spend that money yet, those gift cards yet, because the shipping is going to eat up half of what they've given me. So I don't like to waste money. I only get what I need. If I can't afford it, I just try and figure it out. And we've got to make every single penny work here as we move along. But in the serendipitous look what happened, oh my gosh, everything's falling together way, I'm going to show you 3 things that I got this morning. I opened up my email yesterday because I was starting to fret. How am I going to sketch this out? What am I going to use? I gave away all my paint markers to a homeless artist last year. I've given away so many different things. I'm like, what am I going to use? Well, I could use chalk. a different color chalk. I could use different things, but I got an email from Michael's. I had $25 off, $25 vouchers. If you're in their rewards program, you know, periodically they send you a $5 in rewards. They send you $10 in rewards, but I got 25 bucks. So that means I was able to go get a couple of new paint markers. Not quite the tips I wanted. I wanted fat tips, but they don't have them in store, and I'm not paying the shipping. I'm not wasting money on shipping. So I got these medium-sized markers. And I also got a Flow medium by Liquitex, because I do have some acrylics here. And but acrylics are so thick on their own. You can mix them with water. I just find it tempers the ability to be creative. Adding water to acrylics, it just kind of brings everything down a number of notches. Whereas the Flow medium is going to thin them out, or thin them out as much as I want them thinned out, and kind of slow down the drying process just a tad. This is something I learned to use in silkscreen. Whenever I've done silkscreen, you can add this to, it's just another acrylic medium. You can add it to the silkscreen paint, pull it through, and it'll thin the acrylic, the paint out, the silkscreen paint out, and or add effects when you're silkscreening. That's a whole nother ball of wax thing. But I got to get 3 things that are going to help me a lot over the next few days lay out this painting and get to work on it. And they were free because I got 25 bucks off. So yippity dood on Michael's, thank you so much. And by the way, they're having a buy one get one sale on their canvases. So it's basically a 2-for-1 sale. We're not going to do that. I can't waste the money on canvases. So, you know, we're hanging on to every penny to make sure that we get through these submissions, or this submission. So yay, this is what I'm going to be working on in a little bit, but first I'm going to clean up my studio a little bit, make everything feel fresh and new, have something to eat, and then I'll probably do a live feed while I'm laying out the painting, while I'm taking the overlay and working with the grid, just so we can see how it feels. We can all share this together, okay? I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst & Company. If you'd like to help support Catalyst & Company, all the links are down below, including TeePublic, where you can buy some images of my work on coffee mugs, t-shirts, pillows, tote bags. Also PayPal and Cash App. If you'd like to help me to, you know, get more supplies, get the things that I need to really make this work, Cash App and PayPal are down below, as well as Patreon, where you can supply monthly support, but also my galleries. So if you'd like to get a hold of my galleries and find out how much my work is, if you'd like more info, sizes, etc., there's phone numbers for Jay Louise at Blue Egg, Andrew and Mark at Chasen Galleries, and then Raphael at Artfront Galleries in New Jersey. That's it. Oh, and by the way, the colors that I used in the original, they're not as vibrant as I want them to be. So in redoing this and in the gridding and everything else, I'm going to be laying down brighter colors so that I really get something that pops off the wall and says, we are here. Emma E. Booker is here. All right, that's it. Ready, Carrie? Here we go. Ciao, ciao, meow, meow, meow.